Here, so there's no filtering process. We don't get to hear from the candidates and decide. There's no caucus or assembly. It's different. Precinct leaders, district captains, party officers, candidates, all the people are out doing what's called GOTV. If that's an unfamiliar term, that means get out the vote. This is phone calls, robocalls, knocking on doors. I love to walk precincts. I love to talk to people, if you haven't noticed. But that's all part of getting people inspired to get out and vote. Election day, first Tuesday after the first Monday in November, and that was a great election day for us in Douglas County. And then, of course, in Virginia and New Jersey, we started to see a little turn in the tide. January of the even year. Now we're looking ahead to next January. Our state representatives all wander back down to the Capitol, and they begin the second session of their two-year term. County parties organize precinct caucus meetings. If you go to our county party website, dcgop.org, it stands for Douglas County Grand Old Party, dcgop.org, you will find a very helpful little tool. Unfortunately, it only helps people in Douglas County. We're trying to work right now with the state party and other county parties around the state to get this little piece of technology available to more people. What you can do at our county party's website is you can type in your home address, and just like that, it'll tell you this is the precinct you live in. Right now, you can go see this is where your precinct meeting will be held, this school, that church, this community center. And it'll also tell you who your district captain is and who your precinct leader is. This used to be a real exercise of, okay, what's your address? And I would go to like Google Maps, figure out where you were, then I would download a precinct map from our clerk's office, and I would say, okay, yeah, you live in that precinct. And then I get a directory and say, okay, you live in that precinct, which is in that district captain's area. So here's your district captain, and here's your precinct leader. And it was just really cumbersome. And people would say, I don't want to go through that brain damage. It's not that important. And that's why we typically don't get good turnout at caucus. Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, we have something like that on the state election page for districts, counties, don't we? But not precincts.
Yeah, it doesn't take it down. It doesn't give the location.
Okay.
So this is the challenge. Krista will talk more specifically about caucus and how to find that. But if you want to connect with your county party, either Democrat or Republican. We're looking at January of next year. All counties will be out training people how to conduct these meetings. What we're talking about now is how to attend them and how to take advantage of them, if you so choose. This isn't how to run a meeting. Hopefully you'll have somebody who understands how to run it, but we're going to talk about the opportunities that are available. Then we get to Christmas morning. Everybody, well, maybe not everybody here celebrate Christmas, but everybody knows when Christmas Day is, right? What's the date of Christmas? No. March 16th. Caucus is like Christmas morning. You got to plan ahead for weeks or months. I mean, some people are really good at Christmas. I want you all, Krista and I want you all, if you decide to go down this road, get really good at caucus. And what does that mean? You want to start preparing right now. And this looks like, hi Susan. How are you? Hey, we've been neighbors for a while, and I'm not sure I've had a chance to talk to you. Are you a resident here in our neighborhood?
Yes,
Great.
I am.
Are you registered to vote?
Yes, I am.
What party?
Republican.
Republican. Awesome. Hey, have you ever been to our precinct caucus meeting?
No, I haven't.
Great. I want to be a delegate to all these higher assemblies, and I won't bore you with all this information, but would you put down on your calendar right now the night of Tuesday, March 16th, 7 o'clock. We're down here at the grade school in room 103. Would you put that on your calendar right now and come to the caucus meeting? You might meet some candidates. You might hear some information that would be of interest to you. But my ask for you, Susan, is would you come vote for me Tuesday, March 16th?
What's in it for you?
Well, again, I want to be a delegate. I think Sam McGillicuddy is the best dog catcher we've ever had, and I want to go support Sam McGillicuddy. And I'm not going to go further up the line, but you might. Max has asked us to try to keep this nonpartisan and not support or oppose any of the candidates in that structure, and we're going to talk about all those candidates. But ultimately, Susan, I'd like to go to the Republican State Assembly next May, and I'd like to vote for Sam McGillicuddy to be dog catcher, state dog catcher, and then, you know, whoever those candidates are. But in order to get there, I've got to be elected as a delegate to our county assembly. And the only way I can get elected as a delegate to the county assembly is if I win the election for 2 or 3 spots, depending on how big our precinct is. But I want to be elected as a delegate, and the way I do that is get people like you to come from our neighborhood to our meeting on March 16th, and you vote for me. Would you do that?
Certainly.
That's what we're asking you to do to get ready for Christmas morning. The people who show up on March 16th and haven't gone shopping and did no wrapping and didn't get any food together and didn't bake any pies, or the aunt didn't mail a fruit cake, and they don't have a fruit cake in their house. Those people are going to show up at caucus and say, this isn't fair. Chris showed up and Susan was there to vote for him, and I wanted to be a delegate. This isn't fair. This is politics, folks. It's about campaigning. Yeah. And rather than spend a lot of time right now campaigning for candidates who are running for office, campaign for yourself. This is the core message of this presentation. This isn't about you getting on board with me if you live in Douglas County and if you live in Parker, Lone Tree, Roxborough, or with any Senate candidate or governor candidate or even a party. It's an understanding of figure out what you want. And I think that's what I saw first and foremost at the Tea Party. There were a bunch of people down there. Definitely there were things that they didn't want. Right? I looked out at all these great signs, and most of them were about, I don't like this or I don't like that. But what do you want? Where do you want to go? Do you want the Republican Party to move right and be more conservative? Do you want it to be move to the left and be more Big Tent? Are you a Democrat? Have you grown up Democrat and all of a sudden you're looking at this and saying, wait a minute, I'm not a European socialist. This isn't the party of my parents. And some of you are nodding, and that's okay. We're not here to say you got to be a Republican. We're here to say there's this 2-year cycle, and Christmas morning is happening March 16th, and if you want to get ready, whatever change you want to make, this is how you do it. This is how you do it. Do you want to vote once in 2010, or twice, or 7 times? Because if you're unaffiliated, you're going to vote November 2nd, 2010. You're going to get 1 vote, and you're going to get to choose between who I say you get to vote for and who my counterpart in the Democrat Party says you get to vote for. And that's the way it works. So if you're frustrated with outcome-based voting, don't do that anymore. Now this runs contrary to a lot of people who are saying, I hate both parties. Okay. So either take your ball and bat and go home and have 1 vote and be frustrated, or learn this and get involved. All right? So I'm going to skip over caucus because that's specifically what Chris is going to come up here and talk about. The one thing, or I guess 2 things, I'm going to define those 2 little weird terms. Precinct. Precinct is a geographic term. It means neighborhood or collection of neighborhoods. It can't be more than 2,000 people. In Colorado, a precinct can't have more than 2,000 people in it. Who controls the precincts? Your county clerk and recorder controls your precincts. He or she has ultimate authority over your precincts. So when they look at your neighborhood and they say, gosh, precinct 33 now has 2,001 people in it, they split the precinct and they make it 2. Now in Douglas County, we've got some folks that have lived there for decades. And every 2 years when we have caucus meetings, we have these people walk in there and say, I've lived in precinct number 3 since 1954. You say, well, you live in precinct 138 now. That's why. It's great that they've lived in the same place for so long and they remember their original precinct number, but just understand that precinct numbers change, especially if you live in a county like Douglas where the population is increasing. If you live in a county where the population is decreasing, then I pray that you live in a Democrat-saturated county and you're going to lose votes. That's one reason that I'm pro-growth in Douglas County is the more people who move to Douglas County, the more votes we're going to have. Precinct is a geographic term. Again, neighborhood, collection of neighborhoods. If you're in downtown Denver, high concentration of like apartment buildings, it could be a few blocks. So if you look at the State House